let's get this show on the road. Moonstone's a classic Amiga game. It's basically a beat 'em up combination with RPG elements, and it's really cool. It was designed by Rob Anderson, who was working in Toronto for Mindscape at the time, and then he became an independent contractor to do this game. And he's unfortunately hasn't designed much since then that's any good. His most recent contributions to the gaming industry were Golden Axe Beast Rider and Iron Man 2, and I recommend that you don't play those games. But this game is really cool, and if any, most people should be proud that they've designed one excellent game like this. So, I'm going to just get started. So you get to select your knight, and this dictates where you start on the map. Generally, it's a good idea to pick this guy or this guy because you want to clear out some of the deadlier monster lairs before things get really hairy. I really hate the spear welders, so I'm going to pick this guy. And who's in chat? This is going to be the adventures of Sir Macaw. So I'm starting in the upper left here, and I'm just going to start with this first lair. Combat in this game is basically like International Karate or similar one-button games where you hold the button and then press a direction to do an attack. So like that thrust is down forward while holding the button. It's got a longer range but longer startup time. Those guys are a real pain when more than one starts showing up, and they can sort of catch you in the middle and play tennis with you. And then once you clear out a monster lair, you get the loot. Scrolls of protection are useful because you can use them to avoid fights with the black knights that are wandering around. Haste lets you move farther. Healing lets you heal your hit points. And every time you clear out monsters, you gain an experience point, and you can use 3 of them to level up one of your statistics. Strength increases your, well, how much damage you do to monsters. Constitution will increase your hit points. And endurance increases how far you can move in each turn. You've also got 5 lives and a number of daggers. You can replenish your lives and daggers by buying more, or by using magical items at the Druid Circle to get another life. Thanks for the host, Macaw. You're probably going to die a really horrific bloody death multiple times during this, because I've been practicing and I'm not too great. I'm using a hard disk installed version of this because the gods would be pausing for a very long moment if I was running this off floppies. I'm flashing right now, which means I'm about to die, and that's bad. If there's 2 here, I have a real problem. Uh-oh. I'm probably going to die here. One of the nice things this game does is if you do die after clearing out several monsters, they don't respawn, so you only have to deal with the ones that remain. And I survived that barely with 3 hit points. This is one of the keys to the valley. You need 4 of them to get there. And I'm probably going to make a stop at town now that I have one of these, because it really sucks to die and lose one. Because usually you have to retrieve it from the dragon after that. The spear enemies are terrible in this game because they have really long range. So I'm going to head into town with my wonderful 10 gold. And heal up. If you give this guy 10 gold, you get healed to full. If you give him 15, you get an extra life if you are missing one or more. You can also visit the merchant for equipment. You can gamble at the tavern, and you can buy magical items at the high temple. But since I no longer have any money, I can't do any of that. These other knights wandering around are black knights. This can be played 4-player, which is really cool, but I'm just playing this single player. So this black knight attacked me, so I could use the scroll of protection to avoid the battle. But I've got full HP, so I'm just going to deal with him. Thankfully, they have limited lives too, so after you kill them 5 times, they're not coming back. This guy's got basically nothing that made him worth killing. I'll just take his gold and move on. Thanks for the host for running Wild Vidya. Do I know you by another name? I don't recognize that name. This is an awesome Amiga game. There's also a DOS version, but it doesn't sound as good, so I'm not playing that. The audio in this game was done by Richard Jacques, who you might know from Cannon Fodder and other Sensible Software games. Uh-oh. I'm probably gonna die horribly. Is there another? Nope. So I think I've cleared out all the spear welders now, so that's good. It means that I won't have to deal with them later in the game when more than one shows up. And I'm going to start making my way down to the bottom right because that's where the trolls live, and the trolls are the second most dangerous enemies in the game. I've got 5 health and I don't really feel like fighting this guy, so I'm just going to use the scroll of protection and not deal with him. This is Math the Wizard. He can give you good stuff or he can give you crap. I'm hoping for something that doesn't suck. Oh, he gave me a point of strength. That's kind of useful. Sometimes he'll just drop like 5 gold at your feet, or if you bother him too much, he'll turn you into a frog. So, see, I've got an extra point of strength. I also have 3 experience points, so I'm going to use that to increase my constitution. And my hit points just went up thanks to that. Now I got to deal with this Black Knight. The forward thrusts, which are done by holding the button and then pressing forward, are generally the most useful tactic against these guys. Oh, didn't get to behead him. Oh well. Scroll of the Worm lets you send the dragon after another enemy, but there's not much point in doing that in a single player game, so I'm just going to steal his money. These are like the spear welders, but their weapon isn't as good, so they aren't as much of a problem. See, I can get much closer to him before he attacks, so I don't have to worry about the long wind-up of the thrust. Plus I get to slice him in half like that. This guy's been trying to dodge, but he's not very good at it. You can dodge by pressing the button and pressing downwards at the same time. Another potion of healing, scroll of the hawk, and more money. I'm getting just enough money that I might be able to buy some better equipment as I reach the town in the bottom right. But first I gotta fight another one of these jerks. Nearly died there. He's got a Talisman of the Worm, which reduces damage you take from the dragon. That's a very useful thing, so I'm gonna swipe it. The dragon hasn't made his appearance yet, but you'll know it when you see it. Most enemies have fairly simple patterns, but you can one wrong move and you can take a lot of damage. I'm trying to time my upward swing so that he swings downwards just as he reaches my plane. And like that. If this guy catches me, he's going to do a lot of damage. He can even one-hit kill me if he does a certain attack. So, I'm trying to... That was the good attack that didn't one-hit kill me. He's got a much worse attack that can. And I've got to deal with probably 3 or 4 of these in this encounter. Or not. That's weird. Usually there's a lot more of them at this point. So, again, I get to loot the lair. I have 79 gold, which is enough for a new sword, I think. Or at least the high-level sword. See, there's the dragon. He does a lot of damage, so you don't really want to fight him until you have decent equipment and stats. So right now I'm going to buy the... I think I'll buy the battle armor first, which drastically increases my hit points. And then I'll come back for the Claymore Sword after I kill a couple more monster lairs. Since I have 4 gold, I'm gonna gamble. It's basically completely random. Just select how much you want to pay and see if you win. And I didn't win. Mithril the Mystic can randomly give you stat boosts or stat decreases when you donate gold. I don't think he's worth messing with because he's just too random to be any use. So I'm going to take on... There should be a troll in this lair. Yep. When two or three of these guys show up, it's really dangerous, so I'm gonna kill them before the game continues and more than one shows up. Oh, crap. This is probably not going to go well. Yeah. And so brave Sir Maka has lost his first life. Down to 4 lives. That dragon is really dangerous, so I'm hoping he doesn't start showing up near the bottom here. Which he is, but he's still a little far away from me, so I don't need to worry about him burning me to a crisp. So Maka's going to go for round 2 of the trolls. Daggers aren't very useful against certain enemies like this because I need to back away from him to throw it. Like that. And they don't do a great deal of damage. If these trolls time their swings right, they can just catch me at an infinite, so I'm trying to keep moving and not let that happen. And Maka dies again to the trolls. Not going so well for him. I had a really great game of this going last night, just to test it out and make sure it was working on the emulator correctly, but I'm not doing so hot today. Of course, part of the reason the game last night went so well is I won 150 gold while gambling, and that basically let me get all the top level equipment. See, these guys carry like nothing useful. So I'm just going to take his gold and move on. They can sometimes carry the keys, but that's not common. So I'm going to just take on the trolls again. If you think this is bad, it's even worse later on. And a whole lot of nothing from that lair. You can get an item called the Gem of Seeing that lets you see the loot in a lair before you take it on, which is kind of useful if you don't like a specific type of monster and want to see if you have to deal with them. I don't have one, so I just have to do it the hard way. Thankfully, these guys have a fairly simple pattern. Wait, thrust, back up and run up. Gotta love the scare chords with this. Oh, I didn't take a lot of damage in that one, so that's not too bad. I have 4 experience points, so I could increase my strength, constitution, or endurance. So I'm going to go for another point of constitution. And there's a whole lot of nothing in this lair, which probably means one of the Black Knights cleared it out already. That guy sure wandered across half the world just to die to my blade. No gold, no daggers. Just the scroll of the hawk. So I'm going to head back to town and use my money to buy the best, well, second best sword. The dragon carries the best sword, but that's going to be dealt with later on. So now I have the best armor and the best sword. Well, best non-secret sword. And I'll heal up and continue on looking for the 4 keys. I have 1 gold, so let's go lose it. That dragon is getting awfully close to me. We might have a problem. We do indeed have a problem. Sir Macaw is going to have a very unpleasant day. Come on. He's very dangerous and very hard to hit. And he can do that. Sir Macaw has been eaten by a dragon. Another set of trolls. Hopefully this won't take me 3 lives to clear. If you can time it right, you can end up with them on the same side, and that makes things easier, but that's easier said than done. They're pretty good about keeping you in between them. See, both on the same side. That makes things a little easier. And I'm about to die again. Haven't gotten the really cool death animation from these yet, where they hit you and you basically explode into a pile of guts. I lost the key, probably to the dragon, so I'm actually going to have to deal with that stupid thing to take it down. Assuming I don't run out of lives, I'm running really low on them. I'm going to head to Stonehenge, where you can give the druids a magical item and they'll give you an extra life. I'm going to give them a Scroll of the Hawk. And just check out this art, it's so good. Now I have one more life. Now I'm going to head back to that troll lair and hopefully deal with it this time. See, these guys can basically just catch you and just alternate beating your head in. But they're actually easier than the spear. And that's the cool death. Totally worth it. So I'm going to head back to Stonehenge and get another life. And hopefully fight the trolls again and have a better outcome. Oh. First one of these stupid black knights is gonna die. He's got 24 gold, which will be kind of useful, but they just don't carry very much good loot. If this was a 4-player game, it would be really cool just to be able to take stuff from other players. Unfortunately, there's no way I know of to play this online or anything. Just die already. Oh, crap. Sir Macaw is not having a good day with those trolls. I think I'm just going to move on and hope that there's no key in that lair. These are like the spear and hammer wielding ones, but they're not as much of a threat as the spear. Probably a little more threat than the hammer. As you can see, they aren't doing a great deal of damage. I've taken a lot of hits, but I'm still... Well, I was still okay. This might be the end of Sir Macaw's quest. They just keep coming. Oh, I bet that's the last one too. And Sir Macaw has turned into a cute little pixelated gravestone. Game over. Well, I'm gonna try it again and maybe take on the trolls first. So, if I recall correctly, this guy starts in the bottom right. This will be serve me. Yeah, so I can deal with these trolls straight off the bat. Ideally, I want to deal with these guys and then get up to the upper left. If I can get a scroll of haste or scroll of the hawk to teleport, that would be really useful. One of these guys isn't very much of a threat. Uh-oh. He says that, then he gets hit twice and is probably going to die if he gets hit a third time. All that for 22 gold. can hit space at any time to see your stats. I have 9 hit points, so if I do really well on this next fight, I should be okay. Is, again, a fairly simple pattern, at least if you are better than I am and know how to time it so that you don't miss constantly. And there's a whole lot of nothing here. Great. I didn't get hit though, so that's good. I really can't afford to take any hits here. He says just before he loses his head. Fortunately, I didn't have anything of value, so that doesn't matter too much. It's a full moon, which might cause problems if I run into Ratman in one of these layers, but hopefully that won't happen. This is indeed dank. Dank and very Canadian, believe it or not. Yeah, so I lost some of my gold from that fight with the Black Knight. Could fight him and try to get it back. But I think it's more important to deal with the layers first. The death animations are great. You haven't seen half of them. The dragon ones are especially awesome. There's also monsters that'll just jump and land on you. And those spear enemies will stick you and then thrust their spear up in the air. Which is really cool, even though it's infuriating when it happens. Okay, so that's one of the keys. 1 of 4 done. I can't remember if that lair counts as part of the forest or the swamp. Each quadrant has 1 key, so you need to visit all the quadrants to find all 4. I think that's the swamp, so I might not have to deal with that other troll lair. In the meantime, I'm just going to work my way up to the spear wielders. And I'm always trying to do at least something in each day, because there's no point in just walking and not attempting a lair or Black Knight or... Uh-oh. These things aren't much of a problem if you can line them up right. Like that. The upward thrust has a really long hitbox, so that even if the sword is in the ground, you can usually kill them. Later on, these start coming at you 3 at a time, which is a real problem. But people who don't suck at the game like I do shouldn't have any problem with just one at a time. I wish this guy would line up on my plane. There we go. $27 gold. That's enough for an extra life and healing. And I really don't want to die at this point, because then I'd probably lose my key. The two cities are mostly identical, except this one has the high temple instead of the weirdo who can randomly give you or take away points. So I'll spend 10 points to heal up and then 15 to get an extra life. And maybe stupidly try to earn more gold. Well, that didn't go very well. If you can win the jackpot really early, then most of the game becomes trivial because you can just immediately get all the best equipment. Hopefully this is still early enough that I'm not going to be dealing with two of the spear carriers. Okay, just one so far. Yep, looks like just one at a time. Still tricky, but not as dangerous. I did the dodge maneuver there, which is the button and then down. It's not super reliable, so I don't like trying to do it consistently, but it worked there. What? I guess I died, but there's supposed to be a death animation or something that happened. I just disappeared. Oh, I'll increase my strength while I'm in this screen. I have no idea what happened there. This game isn't exactly bug-free. Like, if two of those trolls do their thrusting motions at the exact same time, it will crash. Hopefully this will go better. Just the one left, eh? Gem of Seeing. These things let you see the loot in a lair before you deal with the lair. So I'm going to take advantage of that and use that to see what's in one of these other spear welders' lairs. Because if I don't have to get it, I'm not going to touch them. Good night, me. You don't want to see how your quest turns out? I'll upload this to YouTube later, so if you really want to see whether or not you succeed, you will be able to. This guy's got some chainmail. It's not the most high-end armor, but free is free, so I'll take it. Thanks for checking out my stream. I'm just going to hit space and use the gem of seeing. See if this thing is an issue. Oh, and of course it's got one of the keys in it, so I have to go deal with it. It is indeed you. Only 2 in this layer? It's a little odd for what is amounts to mid-game, but I won't complain. So I got 2 of the 4 keys, so this is already going way better than Sir Makaw's attempt. So heal up. Check what my lives are like. Might as well increase my constitution while I'm at it. I have 30 gold, so I'll probably just do that. I like keeping full livestock, but I think I'd rather have a big sword at this point. I'll head over here and get one of the other keys, hopefully. Please stay away from me, dragon. These things can step on you and immediately kill you, but they aren't too hard otherwise. Just wait for jump, swing. If you time the thrust right, they're not too much of a problem. You just want to stay on the other side of the screen from where they're jumping in, because they can kill you in one hit. Different swings do different damage. Like this one does way more damage than this. Oh, hey. 3 out of 4 keys. This is going really well. I'm still rather underpowered in terms of statistics, so once I get all 4 keys, I'll probably go clear a few more layers and get gold and equipment and stuff before I take on the final challenge. Also pay this guy a visit because I haven't bothered him this game. Let's see what math has to give me this time. Endurance is not what I want. I can move farther, but that's not particularly helpful. Since usually you can go far enough to deal with one layer per turn. Yeah, it's really cool when they stay on the ground, because like when you're later on in the game, when you're fighting like 20 enemies, the corpses all just stay put. And Sir Me just had a really bad day. Yeah, even like Doom's corpses disappear, which is a bit of a problem, because in the old games it was really cool to just lay waste to them and seeing all the bodies in a room. Admire your handiwork. But developers have weird priorities as far as I'm concerned. Oh, crap. Me is not having a good day, and he's down to 2 lives. I think I may just not deal with these enemies, since I do have the key from this quadrant. So it's a full moon. There's a warning on the screen about ratmen during that time, and you really should pay attention to it. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why the corpses disappear these days, but at the same time, it is a bit annoying. On the flip side, this game does load for every single battle scene transition, which is something modern games don't do. So it can afford to load and unload everything out of memory every time you go back to the world map. And if I wasn't playing with a hard drive version of this, the load times would be really long. So it is a bit of a give and take. No gold here, but I do get a Ring of Protection, which increased my hit points. Potion of Healing, which is always useful, and Haste. Ideally, you want 2 or 3 Rings of Protection and 4 of the anti-dragon talismans. And I have no anti-dragon talismans, so me is probably going to get burnt to a crisp here. Yeah. I'm not even angry at that. That's just what happens when you fight the dragon this early. I believe this is Sir Me's last life too, so we might have a problem here. Depending on whether I take any damage from these encounters, I'm gonna figure out a good path to get to a city to acquire more lives. Or maybe the Druid Circle and use some of my scrolls. That might be the end of Sir Me. Yeah. Rest in peace, Sir Me. You got farther than Sir Macaw, but you didn't complete the quest. And with that, I think I'm going to call an end to this stream. I don't like streaming for too long. I'm sure some of you have better things to do right now. So, thanks for watching. And thanks for watching me die.